Today we're going to review the verb ser in order for you to communicate and express characteristics, descriptions, the way that you are, origin, and occupation. The verb ser is equal to the verb to be in English, but in Spanish we have two different verbs to mean or to refer the verb to be. One of them is ser, and the second one is estar. But for this video, we're only going to focus on the uses of the verb ser. So here I have written down doctor, D-O-C-T-O-R, and these are the ways and in the context where you're going to use ser. For example, description when describing something or someone, when talking about origin and where someone comes from. Another aspect is characteristics of a person or an object, also to tell time. We're not going to be focusing on this for now because there is a chapter just for that. Another thing that we can do to use ser is occupation, and the last one is relation. And relation, it could be anything like siblings, family, a relationship with your boss, relationship with different types of relationships. To describe them or to talk about them, we're going to use the verb ser. Okay? So here's the conjugation table for ser. So here we have yo soy, tú eres, and I like to point out that this tú, when we talk about someone else like you, the pronoun tú, it's always going to have an accent. So just keep that in mind whenever you use that pronoun. Okay, so the next one is the third person, will be él, ella, or usted. Remember that usted means you, but in a formal setting. So él, and this is another point that it's important to remember, él has an accent to make it different from the indefinite article el, the one that we used to say el árbol, like the tree. So this is going to be a different one, and that's why it has the accent, so you know that it's going to be the pronoun and not the indefinite article el. Okay, so él, ella, or usted es, then nosotros somos, vosotros sois. And one important note about vosotros is this is not commonly used in most of the Spanish-speaking countries, but some parts in Central America like Honduras and Nicaragua, as well as Spain, they use vosotros regularly. In other countries like Mexico or especially Mexico, the vosotros form is not as common. Vosotros can be also found in the scriptures like the Book of Mormon, the Bible. So yeah, it's a really formal way of talking. And then we have the plural of the third person, ellas, ellos, ustedes, son. Okay? So now we're gonna do some exercises or some examples showing the different characteristics of the verb ser. So for the first one, description. This is when we talk about someone else or when we describe someone. For example, one example could be el estudiante es listo. Okay? So here we have the student is smart. El estudiante es listo. So we're talking about a third person, so then we're going to use es. Okay? So yeah, so that's when we describe anything. You can also say like, la puerta es negra, or my dog es aggressive. Mi perro es agresivo. So whenever you describe someone or something, you're going to use ser. Okay, so the next one is origin, and that's when we talk about where we are from, where someone's from, where something is from. For example, el té que es de Chile. el té que tomas es de Chile. So the tea you're drinking is from Chile. Entonces, aquí tenemos verb es, third person, and we're talking about the origin. So then when you talk about origin, having the included is going to be important because it shows from. Muy bien. So yeah, so that would be origin. Let's do one with characteristics. And characteristics kind of like are the same, but some characteristics can be temporary. For example, la silla es verde. So la silla es verde. Okay. Another example is ellos son chistosos. They are funny. Okay. So that's when you talk about characteristics. So we're going to skip the one about time, and we're going to occupation. So whenever you talk about the occupation of someone else, your family, maybe yours, you're going to use the verb ser. For example, yo soy un estudiante. So yo soy un estudiante. I am a student. Okay. Another occupation is mi papá es contador. My dad is an accountant. Okay. And the last one, relation. And this one is to describe any type of relationship that you may have. So for example, él, and we have an accent because of the pronoun, él es mi papá. So él es mi papá. Okay. Another example is nosotros somos amigos. Nosotros somos amigos. We are friends. So that's describing a relation, but also can be a description. So some of these are going to overlap on the way you use them, but this is basically the main idea of when to use it. I like the fact that, as you can see, it says doctor, so it's easier for you to remember. But these are the main points or the main ways of using ser, and eventually when you learn about the difference between ser and estar, that are used in Spanish to talk about to be. If you keep this in mind, it'll be easier for you to remember when to use which one. But for now, just focus on remembering the conjugation of the verb ser and some of the examples that we gave.